Hey guys, hi guys. Alright, hey guys, what's up? Welcome back to my channel, and in this video I'm gonna be doing a tutorial. I'm gonna show you exactly how I edit my stuff. If you've seen from my Instagram, where's my phone? People will come across my photos here, like on Twitter, on Facebook, on Instagram, and they will ask me like, how do you edit your stuff? Because especially when I do the before and afters, I do a couple before and after pictures on Instagram stories, and then people ask me like, how do you do that? So I thought I'd make a video showing exactly how I edited one of my favorite photos, one of the ones that I've gotten the most questions about. How did I get it to look from normal Trinidad and Tobago to like this magical paradise island? So that's exactly what you saw in the thumbnail. It's the same picture we're going to edit. This is how I edit my photos. Now, there are a lot of people who edit this stuff in totally different ways. Some people don't even use Lightroom. I'm just going to show you the basics of what I do, and then I'm going to show you like how I add on to the basics, and then like, you know, some other fancy stuff, okay? I really hope you enjoy this one, and these tutorials have been a long time coming, so I'm sorry, but we are now here. I hit my knee. I hit my knee. Let's just open up Photoshop, Lightroom a bit, right? So you can see here, this is the photo that we were going to be working with. This is the photo that was before, and this is it afterwards. This is the before and this is the after. Now I made a virtual copy of the same image so that I can make the same changes on another image instead of messing up the edit I have going on right here. This image was shot at 1/3200 of a second, ISO 400 at 8mm. Now I don't know why it says 50mm up in the corner there, but it was not 50mm. It was actually at 8mm on this fisheye lens. See how wide you can actually see the. More than likely, when I'm doing landscape stuff with this lens, I shoot it at f8. Now, you wouldn't see that information inside of the image itself in the metadata because this is a fully manual lens. There are no electronics on this lens, so the lens does not communicate with the body at all. Enough backstory about the actual image itself, so I can just get started. First thing you're going to want to do, first thing I usually do, is I crop the image a little bit. Now, I already cropped it here to straighten it out. But the first thing I usually do is I crop the in landscape images. The first thing I do is like I crop it, so I figure out exactly where I want to be working with. And I guess in portraits, I think the last thing I do is I crop it. So I usually put the crop line, one of the crop lines across their eyes, like right across their eyes like that. So the first thing I do is I crop. And then what I'm going to do is I'm just going to bump this exposure up a little bit because I want to brighten up everything. I can't go too crazy, but I could go too crazy if I wanted because the 60 handles noise like a champ. So I'm just going to bump it up a little bit, bump that contrast, bring down the highlights, push up those shadows. I've heard somebody call it poor man's HDR. So if you're too lazy to take 3 bracketed exposures and then merge them in Photoshop and then make an actual HDR image, what you could do is like you could shoot a little bit underexposed for the clouds, and then you just like throw away all the highlights and then throw away all the shadows in the image, and then this is what you'll be left with. So that is kind of like poor man's HDR, but you know, it's HDR in its own way. So then I kind of like to push the whites up a little bit and then push the blacks up, like kind of wash the blacks out, because this area right here, this lens is kind of sharp, but I want to kind of retain some of the blacks on this side first. I'm gonna max the clarity. Now this is something I don't usually do, but I thought it looked really nice on the water and everything looks like really nice and reflective and whatnot. It's the same thing I did for the last image. I'm gonna pull it back a little bit this time. So about 80 something. Just gonna push some vibrance and push some saturation. Right, so this is the image that we're gonna be working with for now. Like, the first thing I like to do is I like to correct the image for what I think it should look like at the start, what I think it looked like on that day, because it kind of looked like this on that day. What I go back to now is the color. So I adjusted the temperature to suit the water. So I wanted to make the water nice and blue and kind of like magical. I looked at some pictures from Canada already, and the water in some of their rivers, they look amazingly blue. Like, it looks like somebody just took like tie-dye or something and just threw it in the water, and it's like, yeah, that's the color of the water. So I'm just gonna bring down that blue a little bit, and I'm just gonna throw a little bit of purple in it, like not much. It gives us kind of like this really fine aqua color. Now we made a global adjustment, so the entire of our image now looks blue and a little bit purple, and I only wanted the water to look that color. Now I should tell you to do this the flip side, but I don't want to do it the flip. The proper way to do it is to use the adjustment brush and paint the area, the smaller areas that you want to change first, and then kind of make the bigger adjustments. Leave the bigger adjustments to the global adjustments, right? So I don't want to do it that way because I'm afraid I'll mess it up in the video. So let me just do it the way I did it last time. I think let me just add a little bit of purple again. Like, it's so fine, like you have to be really precise about what you're doing on the side of the colors. So the next thing I did was I took the adjustment brush, which is up in this corner right here, and I painted, well, I reset it first. Let's go to temp. Just reset it. What I did was I painted the entire top frame like this. While my computer kind of screams to do this. You've painted the area and you're like, wait, what? How do I see what I painted? Press O. Just tap O and you will see exactly where you painted off, right? I just pressed L by accident, which kind of makes it a little bit, you know. After you painted the area, just tap O and it shows you exactly where you painted. So you now can adjust this area separately from the image. So what I did last time was, what I want to do actually still is, that does not look like a sunset. So I want to push some yellows up into it, like that. So make it back warm. And then push some magenta into it. And ta-da! That's more or less what I did last time. That's literally what I did. And then if you go before and after, that's what it looks like right now. But we are not finished. What I like to do some of my images, if you want to get that nice film grain, that kind of washed out black, is you see this tone curve right here. Now the tone curve you can play with for many different things. You can add highlights, midtones, and shadows right here, and you can adjust this however you feel like and go like super crazy and do a bunch of fancy things inside of here. But this is not somewhere where I do a lot of work in. I basically come here for one thing. Sometimes I do the highlights, shadows, midtones thing, but I basically come here for one thing, and I just move this last point up a little bit, and it kind of washes out the entire image. So it gives it this kind of, I don't know how to explain it, but I just like to see how this looks. It kind of looks like this faded kind of vintage look. But the thing is, for this, you see this last square right here, try not to leave that last square because it starts to look a little bit off anytime you leave that last square for any reason. So it gets too black on this side and then it gets too white, washed out on this side. So try to stay within this little area right here. So let me just reset it to this so that I can see what the hell I was doing last time. Somewhere around here is good, just for the sake of the example, right? And sharpening is one thing you don't really mess with much. You could like, if you want to get your stuff sharper than what it is. This Rocking-On lens is already sharp as hell at the center. I think it's very sharp, but I know at the corners it gives a little bit of issue, so I'm not going to interfere with that too much. Noise reduction is something that the Canon, the 60 does really well with noise, but if you have issues with noise, you just throw it in. Now, you don't want to mess with this too much because I'll give you an example. Just look at this area right here, and if I throw this all the way up to 100, it starts looking like a painting. Like, it looks fake, right? Look at it. It looks super fake right now. So that is something you don't really mess with. I don't really like overdo this one. Like the clarity, the shadows, the highlights, I can go 100, 100, 100, I don't care. But luminance and like sharpening, it's two things like you don't overdo that. It starts to look, yeah. Okay, so profile corrections, right? A fisheye lens will look like really warped out and like circular and stuff like that. This might not have that much because it's at 24, and when you zoom in to like 105, that entirely disappears and turns into something called pincushioning. Now, if you want to look up what pincushioning and distortion and stuff is like, you can just do that because I don't want to go in too much detail on explaining this. Basically, to correct these things on the lenses in post, you just click this. More than likely, it's going to set auto and it's going to pick up the lens that you used. But for like the Rocking-On lens, you have to actually select it. So it's something that will remove like vignetting and pincushioning, and for this Rocking-On lens, I don't really bother with it, but I know for sure, for a fact, I get it a lot on the 24 side of this lens. So I kind of have to use it sometimes. Vignetting. So if you remove the vignetting from the profile corrections and you want to add some back, this is where you would come. So you just, I guess, give it like a little, like about 10. That's it. I'm not going to go fancy and I'm going to go far into it. And the last thing, last but no means least, camera calibration. Now this is somewhere that I kind of avoided because I didn't know what it was. I thought it was something that's to do with color, obviously, but I didn't know what it was when I just started doing photography. And it was only like the beginning of this year that I really started to interfere with this side. I realized that you can get some really, really nice images, well, color renditions out of this like little section, right? So if I just like throw the blues this way, I throw the blues up on this side. Wait, no, not this way. So I bring it down this way. Right, so this is the way I wanted to go the first time. And I go to this side. Now you can do this really nice teal and orange thing that people like to do on Instagram. I like to do it sometimes too. But this is where I think you can get that done and not in the higher section. So if you've never touched the camera calibration section before, I would highly recommend you come down here. This is like the last area in Lightroom. That you just pay a visit to this last little area downstairs and you might get some nice colors out of it. So this is where we came from. This is before and this is after. This is exactly how I edited it. There's no fancy tricks, no presets that you need to buy for $5. This is how you can get it done. This is the other one actually. So you can look at the other one, and I kind of like this one a little bit more now. So, alright guys, thank you so much for watching. I hope you enjoyed this video and I hope you got something out of it. If you have any different ways that you edit stuff, like you would edit this totally different to what I did and you thought what I did was crazy, then I would love to see what you would say down in the comments below. Just leave some notes downstairs for some people to, you know, read. I would love to see the discussion down below in the comments, like how you edit and what colors you might like to use and stuff like that. If you like this video and you want to see more like this, be sure to subscribe over somewhere around on this side. There will be a subscribe button somewhere around. Also, be sure to click that little bell downstairs right there, somewhere downstairs. I will give you a notification every time I upload, especially now that I'm kind of working full time again, so I wouldn't have much time to do videos, and the videos will be very sporadic, and the whole do a video every Wednesday thing is kind of on pause a little bit. I'll try to get this one on for Wednesday. Hopefully you're seeing this on Wednesday. But yeah, click the bell, give me a subscribe. It really helps me out. I really appreciate when you guys subscribe, and I hope you share this video with somebody, like somebody who likes photography or somebody who wants to get into it, somebody who wants to know how to edit better. Thank you so much for watching. I will see you guys somewhere, I don't know, maybe next week. Maybe next week I'll do another video.